Welcome everyone to another interview for the Remembering Who You Are program. Today I'm interviewing my past client Sharon, who took this program back in 2018, and she's going to be sharing her experience today with us of the program. So it's been a full minute. Wait, was it 2018 or 19? 2019.
19. Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, oops. 2019. And she's going to be sharing her experience with us. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get on a call with her. It's the first time I get to chat with her. We've been chatting about all kinds of things around things happening in the world that she's been enlightening me with. So really excited for this interview. Thank you so much, Sharon, for your time today.
Of course. Really happy.
Yeah. So I would like to know what inspired you originally to want to take Remembering Who You Are? What was the thing that pulled you to that program? Because I remember I had seen you before on and off in this other Facebook community, and I had connected with you here and there, and then you just like one day just popped out of nowhere, messaged me, and you were just like, yeah, I'm interested in this program, like where do I need to sign up or something like that? And I was like, oh, where did she come from? Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was actually, well, I feel like I sort of stumbled into it. I remember initially, I think I was just trying to connect with people, or like, I was trying to be more social online, basically. And I'd seen you around quite a bit. Hadn't really connected with you that much, I think. It was like really brief chat we'd had like a while before. So I didn't feel like we were properly friends, but I'd seen you around a lot. You seemed like the kind of person that, I get along well with. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to reach out to Stef and just sort of make friends or something. So in order to do that, I hopped onto your profile, and you're you're posting about your program, Remembering Who You Are. Like, I watched some of your videos, and like it was just very relevant to some of the things that I've been kind of mulling over at the time. And I think, yeah, the more I just sort of fell down the rabbit hole of your posts and your videos and your content, I was like, whoa, this is what I need right now. And I certainly wasn't looking for any sort of program like this. I had been hiring like business coaches, mostly people who could help me get more clients and just work on the structure of my business. So this seemed like really out of the norm from what I would, the sort of coach that I would normally be working with. But then that kind of got me thinking, like, well, I'm doing personal development. And I realized that it would help my business if I worked on myself more. And if, I took some time for myself rather than just working on my business constantly, because I felt like I was really spinning my wheels a lot in that regard. Like, everyone was telling me the same things, but still nothing was really falling into place. So yeah, it was just that decision to shift gears. And this is like a very rapid thought process, by the way. It's not like I was thinking about it for weeks, but it just felt really right. So I went from, just wanting to reach out to you as a friend and get to know you better, to like, hey, can I sign up for this program?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me the backstory. It's good to know.
I didn't tell you. Well, now you know.
We had contacted or like had been in touch with one another very like superficially here and there, commented on each other's posts, like not a whole lot, and then all of a sudden you just appeared, and I was like, where does she come from? Like, okay, well.
I know, I think one of the first things you said was like, oh, I forgot to reply to the last message you sent me, or something like that. Like, it was a very, very brief conversation.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And like, where were you exactly before taking Remembering Who You Are? Like, what was maybe going on with your life that you would like to share maybe with people to kind of give them an understanding of where you were at in that moment of your life and why you felt you needed this shift, the things that you were mulling over?
I think I was at a point where I was starting to get interested in spirituality and like I guess embracing the more woo-woo aspects of coaching. Mm-hmm. Whereas I'd been quite opposed to it before. I was like, this is not for me, what are these people talking about, all that sort of stuff. So I guess there was a bit of curiosity. Yeah, I know, right? So there was a bit of curiosity there to be like, well, it's a really big subject, I don't quite know how to start, so maybe having someone guiding me through it would help me to understand it better, So there was that sort of interest, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really at a point where I felt like I'd invested so much time, so much money, so much effort into understanding, the world of online business. But I still felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I know, like, everyone says that, but it was really true. Like, I was trying so many different things and always ending up at the same point of, I don't know what I'm doing, I need some help. And then I'd get some help, and then I'd be at that same point again, without really feeling like I was moving forward. And so I think what you were talking about was how you have to, like, address the deeper, more emotional roots of these things, the reasons you're self-sabotaging, etc. And so that got me curious. As like, well, maybe I am self-sabotaging. Clearly the patterns are showing that that is the case, but I don't know how to change that.
Yeah. I love that you bring that up, because it's super similar to my story. Maybe you remember some of my story, but like, I struggled for a really long time doing all the things that people tell you to do with business, and then just not getting anywhere with it. And it wasn't necessarily the actions were wrong in any way, or the strategies were not able to work in any way. It was because my internal world was all off. And, I can create posts and promote things and have, nicely branded things or whatever, but if internally I just don't have the level of self-worth or confidence or belief or whatever else to back it up, then I'm just not going to get the results. And I think that's where a lot of people really struggle, especially when they want to be successful entrepreneurs, or they want to create anything in life in general. You want to have a healthy relationship, or you want to improve your family relationships, with parents or whatever it is. You got to understand the deeper unconscious things behind that are not allowing for that to be manifested or be created in your life. So I really am glad that you brought that up, because for entrepreneurs especially, I don't think that they realize how important the inner work is first before the actual, like, action taking stuff. And I think we spend a lot of time and money, and we just get so stressed out and all kinds of things in the journey because we don't recognize that early on. And even recently I spoke to this young man who, we got on a quick call and stuff. And I was like, listen, the thing that I wished someone had told me from the very beginning of my journey is how important inner work is before all the strategies and trying to get, the likes and the comments and whatever it is, like working on myself. That is what's most important. Uncovering those limiting beliefs, those fears, those traumas, whatever it is. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, but
that.
Also, like, really giving yourself the space to go deep with that, because even for my very first coach, she was telling me how important inner work is, and I was doing the journaling, I was doing all of that, but it was sort of like, yep, got that done, on to the next thing, rather than like what I did with your program. I think it was only 8 weeks, which seemed like an incredibly short amount of time, but it was still that space to really focus on going deep with these things and uncovering all the layers and layers of stuff that comes up once you start going on that journey, that I think was so beneficial.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. That is so true, because even in the world of personal development, I see lots of coaches out there teach personal development and stuff, but compared to like what I do, it's oftentimes, and not to put anyone's work down, but it's just a lot of times still at those like more superficial levels, where it's like, oh yeah, cleared this limiting belief, done, reprogram my mind, done. It's like, no.
And also, like, with those kind of coaches, that's never what you're paying for. You're paying for the business structures, or all that sort of the marketing training or whatever, and the personal development is always like slipped in as part of the package.
Yeah,
but that's never what you're going in with the intent of learning about. It's like, oh, well, my coach says I should journal, so I'm doing that, but really I'm paying her for this other stuff, Whereas with your program, this is what I felt like I was paying for. So this is what I was invested in getting results in, that made a big difference for me.
Thank you for sharing that. I wouldn't know, because I've only worked with 2 coaches. And one showed me all the structures and all the things, and not so much about the importance of the inner work. So that's why that didn't really work for me. And I learned, because I got burned from that experience, I learned, and I was like, never again. And then the other coach really taught me the importance of doing this kind of work. And that's what got results for me. So that I just dedicated my life to doing that and helping other people, because I didn't want to see other people struggling so much more than they needed to, doing the things that I had been doing them in the old way and not getting anywhere. So thanks for pointing that out. So what were some of the, I guess, transformations that you experienced because of remembering who you are? How did you feel you changed as a person, or your life changed? What were some of those results?
Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess one of the main things that have been frustrating me when I went into that program was my finances. Like, I was in debt from, coaching and a lot of expenses that I accumulated in my business that I hadn't really been prepared for. So I really felt like I was kind of floundering with my finances. And like, looking back over this last year, it's been my highest income year ever.
Yay!
Like, ever. Not because of my business,
Yeah,
that's a different story. But like, in general, clearly whatever I did allowed me to just make money doing stuff that I was happy about, and not caring like what the people thought of, my job or anything about me. A lot of what I worked through in that program was just being aware of how I was judging other people, and how I was afraid of other people judging me, and how that was really influencing my decisions and like everything I was doing in my life. So just letting go of that kind of gave me the freedom to say, well, I don't want to do this business, and that's okay. I want to do this. And I was working in a cafe at the time, and eventually I left my business and I just went over to this job full time. Became a manager, really enjoying it. It's been a bit of a crazy ride with the coronavirus and everything, but I've been learning so much. And yeah, I'm just really excited about where I'm going in the future now, and it's been an amazing year. But I don't think that would have happened if I had stayed where I was, which was just trying to make this business work, even though I wasn't enjoying it, wasn't making money, wasn't really passionate about it. So, but it was really hard to do that as well, because a lot of the identity that I created for myself was around being this business owner. That was who I saw myself being in the future and all that. So I had to let go of a lot. But I was able to do that because I realized how much of that wasn't really my own desires fueling this journey I was on. It was, fear of what other people would think of me if I didn't do it, and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. What does remembering who you really are mean to you? Because I always try to explain this in all these interview videos. Because for me, it's like really being your true self in your highest, possible expression, and not just embodying your divinity, like your true power, your true worthiness, magnificence, but just being the most authentic expression of you, which I feel is what remembering who you are supported you with allowing yourself to be the real you and to allow your true desires to come forward and to go after them. And that's why you decided to make that shift from your coaching program to something that felt way more in alignment, and why you're getting to have the life that you have today. But like, I would like to know from you, like, what does remembering who you are mean to you, or how did this help you remember who you really are?
Well, I think a lot of the program itself really was about the remembering part, because I had to go really deep into, stuff from my childhood and my past that I just hadn't wanted to address. But that had really been lingering there for a long time, and holding me back in so many ways, a lot of shame, a lot of resentment, feeling like a victim, stuff like that I had to address. But I think it would not have been the same had I tried to do that by myself. Like, there were some very deep, dark, scary moments during the program that I went to, but I think I had the courage to go there because I knew that I had your support. I wasn't there by myself.
Yeah.
That made a world of difference. Like, I've never had therapy, but it's probably the closest thing I've had to therapy with your program.
Yeah. Do you need a moment? I know it's very emotional.
No, I'm good. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you had some big releases, I remember. that for you.
Super big. Oh my God.
Yeah, you
Yeah, and
started.
it just kept coming. I was like, okay, this is the big one. No, no, this this is the bigger one. Yeah, no, it was a wild ride. But I think since then, the same issues have not been coming up for me repeatedly. Like I think I settled them for the most part, in the way that I needed to at the time in order to release them. And now, like, whenever something little comes up, it's so much easier to be like, put these pieces together and this is the end result, because I've been through that process so many times with you in your program. It's not so scary or confronting anymore, and it's easier for me to put the pieces together, as I said.
So you're saying that it's easier for you to navigate life now because you're making sense of.
Navigate life, navigate my emotions, the things that trigger me. Whereas I think I told you before in the program how I'd always been very emotionally repressed. I didn't feel comfortable feeling negative emotions. And that sort of led to a lot of denial of how I felt about things, which is, no way to live, because you don't know what you don't like, or what feels bad. So you just sort of go with anything. Whereas being able to, I guess, feel the bad stuff sometimes, but also know that it's okay. It makes it easier to then, I guess, just experience life and experience your emotions the way that you're meant to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see, especially in the spiritual community or people who are trying to become empowered mentally and stuff, they're just like, just focus on the positive mindsets, just affirm, just do this. And it's like, no, because you're a human being and you have emotions and you got to learn to feel them, to process them, move yourself through them, understand what they're really telling you, all that kind of stuff to allow yourself to move forward and break free from patterns instead of getting caught up with that. And I see a lot of people who bypass their emotions, who repress them a lot, especially with being a psychic and stuff. I just have this uncanny ability to just really see through people. And when they're talking to me and they're like, yeah, I changed that belief. And I'm just like, no, but, okay. I'm just like, okay, life will show you whether or not you really change that belief, and whether that's really working for you or not. So yeah, it's awesome. I would like to know, because you have, and I don't want to like put your business out there, but Sharon, she healed some really deeply impactful things from her upbringing. And I just remember all of a sudden, you healing through that really helped you to open up your voice, like to speak your truth, to share more of these parts of yourself that you had kept hidden. And I feel like that's also what led you to even speak your true desires to yourself and to really let go of the coaching business that just wasn't in alignment with you anymore, and to just be more of you. But what other positive shifts have you seen maybe in how you carry yourself in life today from that program?
Just feeling a lot more joy in general, I think. Not struggling so hard. Like when I look back to how I was back then, it was just like struggle was a part of life, you struggle for what you want. So there were a lot of beliefs that I released during the program, I think. And it helped me to feel more carefree in so many ways. Like I finally stopped trying to prove myself to myself and to everyone else. And to just be okay with living life how I wanted to live it,
Yeah.
Like it sounds simple, but I think it's really had repercussions in so many areas of my life. Just being able to relax a bit more, and not always be trying to accomplish something or strive for something, but just being able to be still for a little while, which is it feels like I have been doing for quite a while. Even though I have been keeping busy, to me it feels like being still. And just being kinder to myself as well.
Yeah, I love that. Has it improved your relationships in any way?
Yeah, like that's one of the areas that I think it's impacted. Because I know, at least when I had my business, I didn't spend a lot of time with my partner or my friends. and work was my excuse. I was like, I'm trying to create this thing, and it's going to cost my time, and I don't have that much left over for you, and you're just going to have to be okay with that. But like, I wasn't okay with that either, because I need my relationships in my life. But I think having slowed down has helped me to just appreciate the people who I have, and I guess also at the same time not needing their approval as much has, I think, helped me to be more authentic with them.
It's awesome.
In
I love
a lot
that.
of ways. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I ask is just because oftentimes the program will just change so many different areas of a person's life. It'll just be a different experience for different people. Or they'll come in, wanting to focus on one thing, but then it'll like ripple out into other areas of their lives, and it'll improve those areas as well. So I'm just always curious to see like how it improved maybe your relationships in some kind of way. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So to wrap this interview up, is there anything you would say to anyone considering joining this program at this time, but maybe feeling like it's not the right time for them, or it's not maybe they're unable to invest in it at this time? Because you shared how you were, you had some debt and stuff, but even then you still chose to like invest in yourself to be part of this program, to get yourself the help that you needed. So is there anything that you could say to those people who are maybe on the fence about being a part of this program?
Well, like, I'm someone who tends to make decisions very quickly, but if there is something that I'm sort of on the fence about, I'd say just give it a little bit of time. And if you keep thinking, like, after a day or so, that it's still in the back of your mind, I really want to go ahead with this, maybe there's some issues holding you back. Those things can be figured out. But if in the core of your being, that you wanted to go through with it, it's not something you just forget about. Because there have been plenty of things for me that I wanted initially, but then the next day I just forgotten about them. If you're not forgetting about it, if it keeps coming back and it won't go away, then that's definitely a sign that it's the right time for you. And if not, then that's okay. Because if I think these lessons will come up for you one way or another, whether it's now or in the future. They don't really go away.
Yeah.
But I can definitely say from working with Stef that it's well worth the investment. She's a wonderful teacher. She's very authentic. She holds a lot of space while challenging you at the same time to go deeper. So yeah. Oh my God.
It's okay.
That wasn't meant to happen.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I felt very, very supported during this program. Again, even though we went to some very deep, dark, scary places,
Yeah.
I wanted to go there because I felt I was supported.
No worries. No worries. I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah. Because I think what remembering who you are really does is it helps people to advance in life instead of spinning their wheels. It helps them to actually break free from things that constantly repeat themselves over and over and over again in their lives, that keep them feeling frustrated and keep them feeling like they're just back at, point A or wherever they've been at. And I think remembering who you are is really just what helps people to empower them to have the awareness around what it is that is going on inside of them that keeps recreating these kinds of things again and again, to actually finally address them head on and break free from that and allow themselves to move forward, which is what you did in the program by you having this greater self-awareness around, hey, you feel like you're spinning your wheels, but this is actually connected to these deep things from way back when, and you have to process that, finally at last. By you doing that, it just rippled out in so many different ways to really allow you to be your most authentic self and to do things in a way that felt more in alignment with you, for you to move forward and now have more of the life that you have today, which is, you're earning more money, you're doing things that actually feel good to you, they bring you joy, you have more fun, your relationships are working much more harmoniously. So yeah. Anything else you want to share with that?
Yeah. No, that about sums it up. I think it's I would say it's not for the faint-hearted. Maybe I went into the program a little deeper than most, because I really wanted to, deal with these things once and for all, and I did. So I'd say, if you're going to make the investment of, the time, the money, the energy, like really go with it, because you won't regret it.
Yeah.
Rather than like just doing it a little bit here and there over the span of years, like you can actually take care of all of these things in 8 weeks or however long your program is now.
Yeah.
And then just not have to worry about these things for the rest of your life. Maybe little things will come here and there, but like I said before, if you've gone through that process enough times with the right guidance, it doesn't feel quite so confronting in the future, because you've kind of been there, done that. It's not new or scary anymore. It feels a bit more comfortable, I guess.
Yeah,
And
it's comfortable.
you know how to make it more effective as well.
Yeah, that's what I do, is I try to help you to reclaim your power and to be like, okay, listen, I'm going to be supporting you during this time, but I'm going to empower you enough to be able to do this out on your own in the real world, because you got this.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want you guys continuing to come back to me for these things or feel like you can't do it. If you do come back to me, it's coming from a more empowered place, and it's usually coming because I'm teaching you something new that you want to learn more about. But otherwise, it's like, this is what's going to help you handle life with more ease and grace moving forward. And I appreciate you sharing that it's not for the faint of heart. Don't be shy or embarrassed to share that, because that's what I literally, tell people, and what other people who I've interviewed as well, they've mentioned, is it's really deep stuff, and it's really looking at those deep shadow pieces that are not comfortable. So you have to be at a certain stage to be ready to do this work. It's not just for everyone. You have to really be ready to move through your things and be at the place where you're ready and you're done with your own stuff. You're done with your own struggle. You're done with your own victimhood. You're done with whatever it is, and you're ready to look at those things head on and move through them. So thank you for sharing that, because it reinforces the fact
Absolutely.
that
I think that was part of your messaging that that really was the deal breaker for me. It was the fact that you said, it's not light, it's really deep, because I'd obviously been exposed to a lot of similar programs, transformational coaching, the releasing your blocks and all that sort of stuff. But I think it was more the fact that you said, this is not light. We're going to go really deep and it might be uncomfortable. That was like, oh, I'm in. Because that was what I wanted, I didn't want to feel like I was wasting my money.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to program my brain now and just be like, yes, all ideal clients, they look forward to the deep work.
Yeah, because it's not something that a lot of people advertise.
Yeah.
They want, like literally every marketing coach that I've worked with has been like, make it sound easy. Don't want people to be put off.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the opposite that works.
That's what they gave. That's the advice they gave you, is to make it.
Yeah. Make it sound easy.
I can't stand that. And honestly, like, for anyone watching, because I'm real and authentic, and I just tell my business and I tell my own insecurities or my own challenges and stuff, because I really want people to know, like, I'm a normal human being and I have my own, insecurities or whatever. And in the past, especially, I used to feel afraid of kind of expressing the realness of the work that I do, because I didn't want people to be put off. I didn't want to scare them away, because it's not, like, I'm over here advertising like, yeah, look at your crap, people, feel the pain. And and I used to feel insecure about that, like, oh, am I going to scare people off? And I was like, you know what, Steph, like, these are just your own limiting beliefs and things. Like, you got to get over that. The people that really want your work, they're going to look forward to this because they are conscious and aware that they need this now. They've been through so much stuff that they're looking forward to that. And then, I manifested you. So
yeah, no, I think some of the videos that you shared, or like you reshared ones from years ago when you were like in a really dark place, in your business, I think. And you were just so real, and authentic in sharing your struggles. And again, not a lot of people do that, especially not right when they're in the middle of it. And you did that so beautifully. And I think that was what made me feel comfortable coming up with my really deep, dark stuff as well. Because I was like, okay, she's been there. She knows what this is like. Otherwise, I don't think I would have really gotten to
Thank
that
you.
place of vulnerability.
Thank you so
Because it
much.
might have felt like you didn't understand, or you would have been able to handle it, you know?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Like, that's, I think, you know, and who was it that I spoke to recently? Oh, yeah, I have another program that I'm supporting people with. And one of the people from Remembering Who You Are from your round is actually in this new program of mine. And I was talking about vulnerability and authenticity and all that kind of stuff. And I really encourage that because that's how your people relate to you. That's how they know they can trust you. And that's how they know you've actually really been through that kind of stuff and you get it. And you're not just like talking out your butt, you know, just making things up or whatever. And yeah, like I always do my best to share the journey, especially when it comes to healing, because it is an intense period that you're going through when you're going through this deep transformational healing process, like remembering who you are. And I want my people to feel safe enough with me to really let it out, to really let go of those things and to not feel any kind of shame or, I don't know, just embarrassment or whatever, and maybe wanting to expose some of those deep, dark things, because I need them to expose those deep, dark things in order for them to really get the healing, the transformation that they want. And so
Yeah, exactly.
thank you so much for sharing that with me, for acknowledging that with me. Because sometimes in the past, I've questioned myself for like being so open and authentic and vulnerable. I'm like, is this working for me or is this working against me? Because
Yeah, I
nobody
mean,
does it like me.
maybe some people would find it off-putting. Like if they
Yeah.
can't relate to those deep emotions,
Yeah.
then obviously they're not your people.
Yeah.
But you know, it's okay to be polarizing in that sense. But I think like it wasn't even the specific things you were going through that I could relate to. It was more the depth of the emotion that you were being vulnerable about. That was what got me. So you know, it doesn't even have to be like your story relates to
Yeah.
theirs in specifically. I think it's more the fact that you're just so real about it.
Oh, thank you. I gotta remember this always. It's okay to cry. All the things.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time, Sharon. I really do appreciate you taking this time to come and share your experience with people, you know, over a year later, and just sharing with me all the amazing things that you have going on. I know you're writing a book as well, so I'm really happy, looking forward to seeing that. And I'm just happy that you're happy. I'm just happy that you feel so much more at peace with yourself and that you're living your life in a way that feels good and true to you, you know, instead of continuing to pretend to be something you're not, because that's just so restrictive and
Yeah.
soul sucking. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
No,
happy.
I mean, you're in a really good place right now, and it's definitely because of the work that I did with you a year ago. So yeah,
Well,
highly
I'm wishing
recommend.
you
Thank you so
so
much.
much more continued success. And I'm just grateful for our connection, our friendship. I look forward to staying in touch with you over the next few years and seeing how, you know, the amazing things that you're doing as you continue to live your life from this space of alignment. And I just appreciate your time today and being willing to share your experience with other people, remembering who you are. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Happy
right.
to
Well,
share.
if you enjoyed this testimonial, please give this video a thumbs up wherever you're watching from. Drop me a comment in the comments below here where you're watching it from YouTube. And if you have any questions about remembering who you are, always reach out to me. The social media links are in the description of this video. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and that's how you can get in touch with me about the program. Remembering Who You Are is currently now a 12-week program. It's been modified for this round of it because of my guides telling me I needed to add new things to it to make it relevant to the current times, because the world is changing very, very quickly. So if you're interested and you want more info, please reach out to me via the links in the description of this video. Other than that, I really hope that you enjoyed this interview and that it has helped you with considering Remembering Who You Are as a program that you take to help you in your own healing, transformational, spiritual journey. So thank you so much to anyone watching. Thank you so much, Sharon. Have an amazing night over there in your part of the world. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.